Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the Blue Ox second vehicle breakaway kit for Patriot Braking Systems on our 2025 Jeep Wrangler. This is what your kit will come with. It's going to come with the breakaway switch itself and the cable that you need in order to plug into your Patriot. So this end will plug into the back of that switch. It'll have a matching plug there. And then this extends all the way into the inside of the vehicle where you can plug in your braking system. You can see we already have ours installed here. So the way I mounted it was on our 6-pole bracket. You can really mount it anywhere just as long as it's sturdy. It's also going to come with this lanyard here to connect to your motorhome. And then we ran our wires into the inside of the vehicle. This is going to be a good kit for you if you already have a Patriot braking system, but you just purchased a new vehicle that you're planning on flat towing. That's the situation our neighbor was in, so they went with this second vehicle kit. But with their Wrangler, the inside floorboard is quite small, and their older Patriot 3 here, we just couldn't get it to fit correctly. So that's when we had to go ahead and upgrade them to the Blue Ox Patriot, the new version. So that's one thing you'll want to do is just set down your Patriot in your new vehicle. Make sure you can get it all set up really easily. That way you know it's going to work when you need it to. Here's where that end of the cable comes out. We just ran it through the firewall. It's going to plug right into your Patriot where it says Breakaway. Another thing that you will need to purchase is a 12-volt outlet kit, just because the Jeep doesn't have an outlet like this that will stay on all the time. All the other ones will shut off eventually, but once you get that all set up, it's just like setting up your Patriot and your other vehicle. Hit the power button, hit the setup button, it'll cycle through, and then you'll have a solid green light. Really, that's all there is to it. And as far as the installation goes, it's a pretty simple process, but you do need to run a wire from the front of the vehicle into the inside of the vehicle. And also you're most likely installing other flat tow components at the same time. So I'd understand if you're not looking to do this yourself, just feel free to check out our dealer locator. That's where you can find someone local to you that would be happy to help you out with that. If you are looking to install this yourself, then just follow along and I'll walk you through the process. If after watching this video you still have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us by leaving a review or a comment. To start our installation, you'll want to find a mounting place for your breakaway switch. I just attached ours to our 6-pole bracket here, and then there is a wire coming off of it. I tucked it back behind that skid plate. The end of it will look like this. So this is our extension. So this end I'll route down to that and plug in. This end we will have to route into the cab of the car, because this is where we'll plug into our Patriot braking system. Here's the plastic grommet that we're going to go through the firewall to get inside the vehicle. You can see the hole down there. I just popped it out using a flathead screwdriver. Then I used a step bit to drill this hole out just large enough so that I can fit not only the plug for our Patriot, but also our 12-volt kit, which you'll also need to install. So I've already routed that through. Now I'll push this plug through and push it into the vehicle. And one thing you want to make sure is to come back through with some silicone and seal this up, because if you don't do that, water will get inside the vehicle, and that's definitely something that you don't want. So I'll feed this wire and then pull it through to the footwell of the car. Now we routed our wire to our breakaway switch. I kind of took an odd route, but just make sure you're out of the way of anything. I routed it along all these lines, then cut across. At this point you could drop it down to the front. I decided to go over here because that's where I routed the rest of our wiring going to the front, so I just will be able to clean that up a little more. I went under the intake and then dropped down behind the grill, and it'll kind of poke out here, and it's down under here. I'll get this Jeep lifted up so I can show plugging it in. Here's our plug. You can see I still have some slack in it that I'll take out and clean up, but you simply plug in, and then to make sure that they stay plugged in, I'm going to wrap them with electrical tape. That just makes it a little bit more secure. As far as our 12-volt outlet kit goes, we routed it into the engine bay through that grommet there. I just drilled a hole through the plastic and ran it through. And now, since our grommet's on the driver's side and our battery is on the passenger side, I don't really have enough length to reach our battery. So you'll see I already extended the ground wire using this white wire. The ground wire is the one with the ring terminal on it. This will be your 12-volt power wire, which has the built-in fuse and the spade terminal. We're actually not going to use the spade terminal anyways. I'll be switching over to a ring terminal. So I'll cut that off and strip this back, and then I'll use some black wire to extend it so that we can reach the battery. And you will notice I'm using heat shrink butt connectors because we're in the engine bay. That's just to avoid getting any moisture inside of our connections and damage. Routed our wires back behind the engine, keeping them out of the way. Our white wire, I already crimped on a ring terminal. I'm going to ground this off where I've grounded off our diode wiring just to keep it consistent. With our black wire, strip it back and crimp on a ring terminal. I don't connect it here. This is actually where I connected our charge line. So I just like to keep things in the same spot. On the inside of the vehicle, you could use the included bracket to keep this 12-volt outlet tied up. However, anytime I can avoid doing that, I will, just because I don't like drilling holes and putting screws on the inside of the vehicle. So what I've done is I just zip tied it up here. It's nice and sturdy, and we'll be able to plug it in and unplug it without it pulling out. And it's also out of the way. So from there, it's just a matter of making sure all of your wires are tied up so you don't have to worry about getting tangled up with them. So we have our Patriot set up and situated. You can tell ours is an older version, but the plug's going to be the same. We'll just plug that right into our outlet there. And then we also have our breakaway cable. Get that plugged in, and then we'll just run it through its setup. Once you have your braking system all set up, I'd just recommend pulling the breakaway switch once, make sure that functions properly. But other than that, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the Blue Ox second vehicle breakaway kit on our 2025 Jeep Wrangler.